I'm Keystone Agronomist Troy Jenkins. Today I'll be highlighting the use of fungicides for foliar disease control on corn that's in the reproductive phases. When I think about corn that's tasseling and silking and about what's going on in the canopy with diseases, I think about some of those that I see are gray leaf spot, northern corn leaf blight, southern rust, and tar spot. These diseases basically coalesce on the leaf and they disrupt photosynthesis, which ultimately results in less sugar being transported throughout the plant. You hear agronomists talk all the time about the disease triangle, and it's real important. That's the host plant being corn, the disease, I've already mentioned some of those diseases we think about, and last but not least is the environment right, okay? Do we have the correct moisture content and right temperature for these diseases to take off? When I think about what type of fungicides I like to recommend, I like to think about multi-mode of action fungicides, those that contain triazoles, strobilurins, and SDHIs. These products can help with early infection, be curative, and also provide preventative control. So what should we consider before planning a fungicide application? Well, we should think about the weather. What's going to happen? Is it going to be hot and dry, or are we going to have more favorable conditions for diseases with more moisture and maybe a little bit lower temperatures in the canopy? What's our rotation? Is it corn following corn? We have more incidence of disease because we have more inoculum in the soil in a corn after corn rotation. What's our fungicide activity length? 21 days typically is how long fungicides last, so we want to time that out to make sure we're getting the biggest bang for the buck. And last, what kind of a hybrid do we have in the field? Is it more resistant or tolerant to diseases or less so? So let's talk about scouting. We want to begin scouting before we get to the tassel and silk emergence stage. We want to begin earlier, and we want to go into that canopy and count down 3 leaves below the ear leaf and do observations, and if we have 50% or more of those leaves that have disease, we should begin spraying fungicides. Now, when we go in and we find no diseases in that canopy, all the way up to tassel emergence and silking, we might want to delay our fungicide application until we get to the R3 stage of growth, which would be milk stage. I want to briefly talk about plant health. Corn yields are directly associated to length of grain fill period and kernel weight. And when we use fungicides, we can reduce the amount of a product called ethylene produced by the plant during stress, which wants to shut down the grain fill and kernel weight period. Another thing that fungicides can do is they can actually lower the temperature in the canopy, which provides for a little better photosynthetic capacity. We can also increase water use efficiency during periods of drought or dry conditions by the use of fungicides. And last, we can actually increase the amount of antioxidants produced by the corn plant for better stress mitigation. For more information on fungicide application timing and product selection, contact your Keystone Agronomy specialist.